Wow. So, speedy story. I, as a result of having a brick and mortar in 2009, was introduced to YouTube. And that opportunity, which none of us really knew, I know I did not know where that would take me. Initially, my initial idea was to get on YouTube to make sure the south side part of town was able to come to the north side where my salon was at the time. I quickly, within a year, less than a year, found out that it was as much a portal for clients to reach us as it was other professionals that was doing what I was doing, that was contacting me very, very early for education, for techniques, for advice. And that has gone on to this day. Many videos that I've created years ago are still getting comments, but that opened opportunity for questions about education early on, 2010, 11. So for years, just as me moonlighting outside of my salon, I was offering education or speaking on YouTube, knowing that I was talking to other professionals, which turned into educational events that I could hold in my salon and out, which went to opportunities for me to speak at certain places. This is while I was still running the salon. I got off of YouTube in about 2012, got married, started to really settle in to grow my business. For about 3 to 4 years, I was just looking online at video, but I was watching. And things were happening to me. Things were changing in my life. Things were happening. I was getting older. My business was growing. And I saw the need. I just kept telling myself, if I ever got back out there to do education, because I halted everything. Almost like I felt like the education piece of my career was like being single, because I was doing a lot of traveling. I was working for companies to train. And then running a business was much like a marriage. So it was kind of like, well, I was done with the single life to run the business. But it was still in me. It was still in me to get out there. So about 4 years later, I started to see some changes in my salon, in my business. Things that started to creep back up, that idea of me doing education. And I saw an opportunity, honestly, to say maybe I'm done with what I've done in a brick and mortar. We saw an explosion of social media during that time. We saw an explosion of video during that time. Digital devices became more and more. We were able to just connect with people as simple as around the corner or around the world. And I said, you know what? I do think I'm done with the brick and mortar, walk in the door, hand to hand service. I think it's time for me to consider doing something that's outside of the city limits, but it required me to almost trade, leaving the salon totally and getting out and doing it on an independent basis. Went over with my wife on what we were going to do. I knew I could do it because the urge and the ask for it had never stopped over those 4 years. It started off, right around that time. I took it as a sign. Periscope happened and gave us an opportunity to not only get feedback from people that wanted education and why, but we could now hear from them live on air. And I took full advantage of that almost simultaneously when I closed my salon. And I knew then I could train, I knew I could teach, and I knew I was just as excited about that because I love people, right? I love people in the salon, and I love people to educate. And the fall of that year, 2015, we committed to creating content in that space online, which months later we started to do actual standalone classes, did a run of classes in 2016. I started to build a following, and honestly, it was growing with me or as me or, on me as much as I was trying to put my information out there. People were hungry. They were coming from all over the world. We even had international people come to events. And for that 2016, I knew, probably about 3 months in, okay, not only did I knew I was supposed to be doing that, but I almost felt like I probably was a little bit late to it because there was not, the elements that I had brought now were different, which comes to our motto. I have the shirt on now. I knew that if I wanted to do education, I didn't want to just stay in the artist lane. I wanted to incorporate better business, to be a part of what we did, to know that anybody that would come to our education would know we are not going to talk about technical. We're not going to talk about art and not talk about the business. And ultimately, I wanted to give the people that invested with me and invested with the company an actual goal of what I was doing and what I wanted. I wanted to be a line in the sand, which really separated us. I mean, where we are now, we probably could be triple in growth if we were just about making money only, if we were just about getting artistic only. But we have a firm belief, which is the anchor of our motto, which is better brands, better business, better lives. Started off as better hairdressing, better salons, better lives. So we infuse health. We infuse relationships. We infuse mental health, time off, vacation, almost giving people what they weren't given a lot of times from the beginning, a reason why we went into business. What is all of this for? It's not a race to see who can get the most Instagram followers. Ultimately, I ask people 3 questions. What do you want? Where do you want to travel? Who you want to help? And those 3 questions always seem to get people to understand that this has a goal. So why did I create it? I saw, gaping hole and need for people out there to understand how to run business better and have their lives to be better. And we did it with that as a simple motto. Better brands. We want you to get stronger as a brand. We want your business and your money and your stability to get better. And ultimately, we want to see you on vacation somewhere. We want to see you with a cocktail in your hand somewhere. We want to see your children, your family, and things to be better in your lives. Because that way, we know that we've sometimes even given you the why or enhanced your why you went into business in the first place.